really unique guest on my podcast. And I'd like to say thank you very much to Colton Armstrong for being my guest today. Thank you, Colton.
Being a guest on your show.
Well, it isn't every day that I am reaching. I'm starting to reach outside of my original community, and it's a pleasure to come across someone like yourself. So I am really excited, guys, to introduce Colton to you. And it turns out that a lot of you already kind of know who he is, and you didn't tell me about him. This is not good. You're supposed to tell me. Anyhow, I've invited Colton to talk to us because Colton has a Facebook community, not one, but two Facebook communities that would make most of us, with the exception of maybe Pace, blush because of the size. So he has two communities. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Subject to Owner Financing Buy, Sell, Learn. Okay, I like that name. It has over 27,000 members. And then his other website or on Facebook group is called Subject to and Creative Finance Real Estate Investing by REI and then the numeral 9.com. And, this one, I don't know, maybe it's a little embarrassing for him because it only has over 40,000 members. Okay, guys, I was complaining because I have 5,000 followers and Facebook wasn't allowing me to move forward without getting a professional, blah, blah, blah. He's got 40,000 over. Okay, very fascinating. Colton, um, I would like for you to talk to us a little bit about these two Facebook groups because they're not the only thing you've got going. But talk to us about these groups that you've got going, and that many of our members here, because I see, I have over 1,000 common friends in one of the groups and another 1,600 in the other one. I'm like, oh, some of my friends already knew and they didn't tell me. How did you start these groups? Like, well, let me back. Yeah, let's start there. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place because I'm excited. Talk to me about the Facebook groups that you have, and we'll start with the one that is subject to owner finance, buy, sell, learn. Love the name. How did you start this? When did you start it? How did you get it to be so big?
Both of them are a few years old. They've grown in size because of the popularity of people like me and the community around, subject investing and creative real estate investing. We've got almost approaching 30,000 members in this group. It's growing rapidly every day. So there group of 40,000 members, and we've created a really ongoing base of people that are finding deals every day, posting deals, connecting with investors, connecting with lenders, and just going the creative route. And I would say 90% of the people that are out there investing in today's world don't even realize the opportunities that you have in these creative finance strategies like sub two, seller finance, novation agreements, and several other creative aspects of purchasing and investing.
I would absolutely agree with you on that for sure. That it's just this area of creative financing is just starting to be accepted and starting to be noticed by the population as a whole. Most don't have any clue. And of course, realtors will tell you it's illegal. But, anyways, that's a different story. Um, so, I noticed that they were both started in 2023. So, you're almost 2 years old right now. That's not a very long time. What made you start them? And why did you start two? And how did you start getting people to come?
We actually started the one larger with a friend of ours, and then they ended up tapering off, and then we actually helped grow the other one with another friend of ours, and they ended up tapering off. We ended up being the sole owner of both of them, so now we're kind of stuck with in two really big sub two communities. But
Interesting. Why would they have
life
lost?
gets in the way sometimes. Everybody gets busy with projects. Everybody gets busy with life, and sometimes you just don't have the time and upkeep to keep the groups up. So
Still, though, as busy as you might get, knowing the power of Facebook and the power of networking, why would you leave them? I mean, I imagine that there's a heck of a lot of contacts. I myself notice, oh my God, I have contacts already in here. Uh, why would they leave? I mean, I would stay, and I'm glad you did. Did you? Did you buy them out, or
it,
did they just say we've had enough?
it's a huge overall to have to maintain a community that's that large and pretty much by yourself. I've got one other admin that kind of helps part time, but for the most part, I manage these groups by myself. I'll utilize all the administrative AI features that they have to kind of weed out some of the spam. I do a really good one by one vetting of every member that joins the community so that we're not getting a bunch of spammers in the group and people that aren't wanted in the group. So it's a lot of work on the front end, but it's paid off. We've got communities that are out there that are a lot.
Oh, hold on a second. It says, I got a
Okay.
message here that says are not being recorded anymore. Colton Armstrong stopped being recorded because of low browser storage. Ask them to free up storage and then rejoin. Do you have other windows open?
It might be my storage.
Yeah,
Let me
it says
check.
that your browser storage is, you know, not, is too low. And I'm not positive, but I think that that means that you have too many windows open. This does require a lot of, it takes a lot, it's heavy. It takes a lot of data. And it asks you to rejoin. Do you see an option to rejoin?
Let me check. Are we now?
Let's see. It's not giving me any more error messages. So let's see what happens when you're speaking. Can you pick up from when you were saying it does take a lot of time and energy?
It does. It takes a lot to run these groups and to be as efficient as ours. I've got ours pretty much on autopilot, but it's taken a lot of work to get them to this point. And there's a lot of other creative finance groups like Brian Carlson, uh, the Paces group, and two or three other large real estate communities. But I believe ours is a lot better quality because we go through one by one and we vet every member that joins our groups. So we might have 40,000 in one and 30,000 in the other, but we don't have 20 or 30 or 40,000 spammers that are in our group constantly, spamming the group, collecting their information, and exploiting everybody. So I think we have a really good quality group between both of them, and I think that the deals that are being presented every day on a daily basis are speaking for themselves.
Thank
We've
you
got
for that. Thank you
hundreds
for
and
that.
hundreds of wholesalers that are posting deals every day, and we've got, I would say, at least 40 or 50 good deals every day being posted to our group. So
That's great. That's great. And I see it in a number of different areas. It's not just in one geographic area, so that's good too, to say the least. Um, and talk to us about the REI9 .com, because you have the two Facebook groups, and one of them has the REI9 .com in its name. and you're also on Instagram and on YouTube, and then you have the business rei9.com. And my very first question is, what's the nine about?
So we bought a domain a long time ago. It was one of the first domains that we bought, and it was DAT9. I didn't really know what I could do with it at the time. It was just a really short four-letter domain name that I bought. And then a series of career events led me to computer programming, software development, real estate, construction management. And over time, we've built a lot of automation software, AI software, to the point where we are automating a lot of our processes and our business automation. So the project that we're working on right now is building a platform to where we can automate real estate and home service industries. And with that being said, we went through and bought every nine domain that would reflect a home service based business or real estate based business. And we've basically built little mini franchises off of each domain. And then we're teaching people how to automate their business based off of that and giving them the branding tools that they need to be a successful business. And
Interesting.
REI 9 is just our real estate investing coaching business based off of real estate and the creative finance teachings that we do.
Very interesting. And is that's why you captured the nine like you're wearing in your hat right now?
That's it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
And I visited, I will say, folks, that this person, if you don't know him, is definitely worth checking out. I'm going to share um, his business site, which is, the rei9.com. That's the address. And then, of course, the nine, as in the hat. And there's Colton. And they have a lot of different things that they do. So I see that you do education, you do wholesale training, which is a big one, and then you've also got the login for people. But the where did I see um, the no, not there, where you talk about, I'd like for the visual. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so these are the different kinds of folks that might be interested in the services, but Colton has a lot. It's not just, I mean, just one Facebook group that's that large would have been enough for many, many people. Having two, and then also having YouTube and the business makes it a, a lot. Um, how are you doing all this? You're not doing all this on your own, are you?
I'm doing, I would say, 90% of it on my own. I have a group of software developers that work with me overseas. And then I've obviously got my people that are here that help me with contracts and attorneys and accounting departments and stuff like that. But primarily, I do most of everything by myself.
So with the one single platform, as I saw it, you're offering lawn service. That's where the lawn9.com comes in, and
Hmm.
maid service, home services, pool services, like all these different things. So these
Hmm.
bolt-ons are, I think, very interesting to a lot of us who say, okay, I'm going to do assets. I'm going to buy whatever it might be, Airbnb or uh, whatever, storage or single family. And then they find out, oh, I got to have cleaners. Oh, wait, I got to take care of the outside. I need landscaping. So the idea of setting up that as a bolt on is a very interesting one, and one that I've seen before. So you guys are packaging it all together and then offering it with the branding and the, do you teach the people how to get the business going?
We do. So there's a few different things that spin off of that. With our creative real estate investing, we are buying properties nationwide.
Okay.
We have a local construction business that does make ready services and provides all the services that you just mentioned: pool cleaning, lawn care, landscaping, interior renovations, anything that would be needed to do a full make ready to get a property ready for rent or to sell. We do that in the DFW area, but the properties that we're buying are nationwide. So we're doing all 50 states and Puerto Rico at the moment. And every time that we buy a property, we typically don't sell it. We typically raise the funds and we try to keep it. So we've got one division that is just strictly based on raising funds with investors, passive people that are looking to, beat their savings account, beat their retirement accounts. Um, Something that's a little safer than the stock market, I guess I would say. So we've got that area that is just constantly raising funds. We are buying properties nonstop, using creative finance, obviously. And then what we do is the properties that we actually buy and hold, um, we'll capitalize on the creative finance. So we'll get into these properties usually within 10 to maybe 30 or $40,000 each, and then we'll rent them out for cash flow. And our cash flow is typically between three and maybe $500 to $600 a month on average.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll buy 10, 15, 20 of these properties at a time, and we'll take the cash flow off of them, and we'll use the cash flow to build and scale small home service businesses. So we'll go through and we'll find 10 or 15 vendors that are in the areas that we are looking for remodel services for the properties that we have. And then we'll talk them into joining our platform and using us as a tool to scale their business.
Oh,
So it's kind of like bringing them in on a franchise deal, but then taking over all of the business aspects so that they can grow their company and only have to focus on the work in the field. They don't have to worry about marketing. They don't have to worry about accounting. They don't have to worry about job management, any of that. We handle all that on our end, and we show them how to set up all the tools and stuff to be able to do that and grow.
that sounds very interesting because I've heard of the concept of buying businesses and I've
Mhm.
heard of the concept of growing businesses. Growing businesses is not for me. It's too long term, too many things that can go wrong. Buying them makes sense, but yours isn't actually buying them. Yours is actually going to them and getting them to buy in to your platform and your system. Is that right?
It's a little bit of a hybrid. So
Yeah.
we we work with a lot of small vendors, and the investors that we have, they're not going to want to buy a business that's a one man show. So what we do is we sell them on the software package to be able to scale their business faster, to where they can reach $1-2 million a year, to where they can hire management to replace themselves. And once they get to the point where they can replace themselves, then I can take them and about 5 or 10 other businesses, package them together, and take it to my investors and say, these are the companies that we'd like to buy in house, and convert them to our brands.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, Colton, one of the key elements of this is the software.
Yeah, the software is a very key element. We're able to utilize it for basically anything for any business. So with the home service businesses, we can automate our contracts, we can automate our scheduling, our tasks, our job assignments, our estimating, pretty much anything that would have to do with construction. And on the real estate end, we're utilizing our software to be able to automate the wholesaling process that we have, the offers, the contracts, and then our general marketing outreach as well. We can reach pretty much any buyer in America, any seller in America, and we can automate those processes through email, text, AI phone calls, um, our automated marketing for our social medias, pretty much anything that you can think of.
So, you're using AI to a fair degree.
We use a large amount of AI. We use AI for our calls in. We do AI for our outreach. We do huge email campaigns to sellers. We do text blasting to sellers. We'll do mail outs periodically to try to get motivated people. Um, we actually wrote a book. I wrote a book on all the different ways that we get our leads, and I give it out to everybody for free for anybody that's looking to try to get leads, as far as finding creative real estate deals. So
That I think that's very generous of you, and I love the title "Wealth Without Banks." I like it. I like it a
That's
lot.
the one that I'm working on right now. I'm about 70% done, and as soon as I can get it finalized, I'll start sending it out to the group and let everybody critique it.
So, is this another book that you were referencing?
No, this is one that I am building for our podcast. We're
Okay.
actually starting a podcast based on creative financing. And
Hmm.
once I finish the book, we'll actually launch that on the podcast. And then
Cool.
we'll start dissecting it and going into smaller details on all the different methods that you can use for creative finance and putting these real estate deals with little to no money.
Very nice. Um, what were you doing before you were in real estate, and who has influenced you? How have you done your learning?
Well, I guess when I was in high school, I was running three businesses. My parents had a business in Dallas that I would help manage. We had a business in East Texas that I would help manage, and then I launched a.
What kind of
I was really big
businesses?
into. Well, one was a litigation support company, so we would go in and we would prepare attorneys and legal personnel. We would get them prepped for trial, so we duplicate any documents that they had, any kind of X-rays. We would basically prepare them for trial. That was one company that my parents had managed, and I helped them run in my free time. We bought a skating rink in East Texas. I managed that, and
Skating.
then skating rink, yeah. And I actually turned that into a like a I guess a multiplex deal. It was skating, laser tag. It's got batting cages and
Oh,
two or three
nice.
other little things. And I had always been really involved in athletics and sports and stuff. So when I was in high school, I ended up starting one of the largest sporting goods online sporting good retailers. And what
Oh,
I did is I went to all the distribution hubs in America and I merged their product databases into my website. And then I got government contracts with all the school districts in Texas. And I would get on their buy list and I would go through and I would one by one say, hey, we can do anything from sell you a baseball to build you a new football field and
cool.
stadium equipment. So if there's anything
Wow.
at all that you can possibly think of in your athletic department, call us and we'll get it taken care of. And I ended up running that company for a long time. Then I ended up selling that. And then I ended up selling the skating business. Um, and then I started doing commercial construction projects, large
Commercial
scale,
construction?
multi state. Yes.
Whatever made you go in that direction?
I had a friend that had a construction company and he needed help running it. So I went and I helped him run it. And it grew really fast. And that's just the path that it ended up taking me. And it ended up being a really good ride. And all along the way, I've been just buying real estate and doing real estate projects in the meantime.
Are you still in the
My dad was a
construction
broker when I
company?
was little.
I'm sorry, Colton.
So I do it as a consulting service. Like I'll people hire me as a consultant. I'll go out to the job site and we'll build the projects from start to finish.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
You,
Um,
you had asked what got me into real estate. My dad was a broker when I was in high school, and he would always try to do these little fix and flip projects, and he'd always stay busy doing these little projects and stuff. So I kind of learned how to do all the construction, do all the flips, kind of figured out what to repair, what not to repair, and where your cost savings were. So, as soon as I got out of high school, I started buying my own properties and doing my own projects and stuff. So fast forward several years, and this is where I'm at.
I think that's fantastic. That is fantastic. And when you were in commercial construction, about how old were you, and how old are you now? Because you look so young to me. But I'm old.
I'm actually 35 now, and I started when I was 19.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And how did you end up saying to yourself, I need to start two Facebook groups? Not one, but two. And going to, this concept of building a platform for bolt ons of all things to do with business and franchising it, because that's a pretty big vision. And I did notice that on your own Facebook, it says dream big or go home. And I'm like, ah, I think this guy's met pace. But tell
That's
me
my
how you went
motto.
from that to, to deciding you're going to go into social media, with Facebook and building this platform where you're putting everything together.
Well, believe it or not, not everything is always perfect and always goes according to plan and stuff. And sometimes some of the biggest blessings and some of the greatest experiences come through your downfalls. And we we found out a really hard lesson that if you're going to build a startup tech company, it's really expensive. So we poured all of our heart and soul and every dime we had into to getting our platform kicked off, and we got right to the point where it was launching, and everything kind of turned south, and it didn't end up working out very well. We had to, you know, reshift and change our focus and rebuild and start from scratch. So we kind of lost all that. We went with a lot of stuff that was pre-built by other developers and some open source software and stuff, so that we could get our product to market faster. And I guess that kind of let us ramp up our real estate because we needed more funds to keep the software going. So then we started doing real estate nonstop, and now we kind of intertwine the two of them because it takes one to do the other. So
Interesting. How did you learn? Have you learned programming yourself?
yeah, I actually about halfway through my career with construction, I actually quit my job, and I had a really good paying job, really good long term career. But I ended up quitting because the platform that I had built for my sports distribution business, I hired a company to take over it and build it, but I wasn't happy with the way that they built it. And then I found out that they had just bought a bunch of prepaid software overseas and then charged me about 10 times more.
Oh,
So it infuriated me, and I ended up quitting my job, going back to school, learning how to program, and then now I don't have to worry about hiring a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing to program what I need.
that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, knowing how to actually do the programming, I think, is pretty key, especially in using uh, AI and all these things, agents and stuff that are coming down the road. I think that
Mm-hmm.
the people who are best suited to be able to succeed in that are people who have a background in programming because you understand the
I think the next
underlying.
5 years of AI and technology are definitely going to scale the real estate and pretty much any business that's out there. I don't see any industry out there right now that's not going to be changed in some way, shape, or form by AI and the technology growth that we're experiencing right now.
Yes, yes, I agree wholeheartedly on that. Everything from, um, yeah, just about everything is going to be touched by it for sure. And there's a argument about whether plumbers will also be affected. I'm like, uh, how's AI going to do it? And they're like, in the future, the houses are going to be designed with AI to be and robotics to be able to go in and take care of it. You won't need plumbers. And I was like, wow, okay, they're thinking of
The,
everything.
the thing that we're going to piggyback off of is we're still going to have everybody go out in the field and do the work, but we're going to automate everything in between. We're going to automate the whole business in all the headache of actually running a small business, so that literally all they have to do is get on their phone, see what schedule that they have for the day, go to each individual house, take a before, take an after picture, and then upload it to the system. And that's going to be all their workload entails. And if we can do that for every home service industry, from plumbing to pool cleaning to landscaping, lawn care, house cleaning services, moving services. That's our goal, and that's the direction that we're going to go. So hopefully, the small amount of AI that we use in our business integrations will help them scale their businesses.
That's super exciting indeed. And can you talk a little bit? You've already mentioned that when you find homes, you want to hold them. So I don't, do you do a lot of flipping?
I try not to flip, and the reason is because everybody that's out there is a flipper. So the market is saturated with fix and flippers. Everybody wants to get rich with real estate, and the only thing they know is to buy low, sell high. and with that comes low inventory, high market competition, and trying to compete with people on those deals is not the direction that I like to go. We do some fix and flips periodically, but I would say primarily we try to do the Burr method where we buy, renovate, rehab, and then repeat, refinance, repeat. And typically, the longer that you hold the property, the more money that you'll make over time, the wealthier you'll get, and the more that you can utilize some of those tax benefits that come with that.
Yep. Did your parents utilize that philosophy as you were growing up? Did they
They
own
did not.
properties? Okay.
They tried to make money today, and at some point that runs out, and then you don't have anything to make money with tomorrow. So um, I guess I kind of learned from some of their mistakes and learned what worked for them, learned what works for me, and try to build a hybrid between the two. So
When
what I like to do is I'll try to build up a good wholesaling platform. So if I get 10 contracts, I'll try to keep maybe two or three of those properties, and then I'll sell maybe 6 or 7 on the side to cover the entry for the two or three that we keep, and then that keeps today money coming in, and that keeps tomorrow money coming in as well too. So
got it, got it. How old is or how long have you been holding your longest held asset, and what was it?
um, I probably should hold them longer, but I would say around 10 years. I kind of get antsy at around the 10-year mark. Um, the first property that I bought while I was right out of high school, basically. It was a foreclosure. It was $170,000 back when 170,000 was a lot of money.
Yes, I was going to say back then. Yeah,
And I ended up getting it at foreclosure for 50,000 cash. So I came
nice.
up with 50,000, paid cash for it. It appraised at 170, and I probably quadrupled my money over a 10-year period. So that was
And
my first one, and then just off to
was
the
it a
races
single
after
family?
that. It was.
And you still have it?
No, I've actually sold that one. I rented it out for 8 years, refinanced it, pulled a bunch of equity back out of it, and then I kept it for another year or two, and then sold it.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I had started when I was really little, um, preteen, because my mom couldn't speak English, so I had to interpret. And I'm going to tell you, I was there doing the negotiation in English, um, and purchasing a property at 24,500, and they didn't believe in selling. And fast forward, numerous decades, and myself and my siblings couldn't settle on the estate, so it needed to be liquidated, and it sold for 2.3 million.
That's insane.
It is insane, especially when you consider that for all those decades they were collecting rent. So,
Hmm.
I kind of saw the power of holding it on to it. And I wish it had been multi generational, but whatever. If we had to liquidate, we had to liquidate. But yeah, the power of just holding on. And trust me, those houses went through 2008, but they didn't care because they were totally paid off. And, the rents just kept going up. So, yeah, it is interesting to see what can happen when you own something long term. So, Colton, the um, business that you have started and that you're getting going with the single platform, with the Lawn Nine, the Move Nine, all these nines that which sound just like a great idea. Um, I imagine that you will. Have you started to build a business structure around it, or you can't be doing it all yourself?
I still do predominantly everything myself. As far as the real estate coaching, usually I'll bring in some people whenever we get a large class. I'll let them do the coaching as far as the wholesale training and stuff like that. I'll train them how to utilize the software. And then I will actually manage all of our construction projects, our rehabs, our fix and flips. I'll find all our deals, and I'll vet all of our investors. So I would say I do probably 90%, and we're steadily growing. So I
Wow.
think once I find people that I can trust to do what I do as good as me, I think I'll start bringing on some more people. But I'm kind of picky on who I bring into my circle and how much I let them do. So
I have seen that before, and for good reason. I understand it. I do. I understand it. So you've got to be pretty busy, and on the projects that you're doing, that you're outlining right now, they probably have to be. You said DFW. Is that where you are?
yeah, I'm actually in Fort Worth.
Okay.
That's where most of our construction jobs do. Um, we ramped up a lot during COVID, and we're doing a lot of service work, and now we're kind of toning it down just a little bit and doing all of our own in-house projects for the most part. That's kind of how I keep everything manageable. Try not to take on too much outside work, but that's allowed us to grow pretty good. We get really good at fixing our properties, and worst case scenario, some of the vendors that we have, you, it's a learning curve. I guess if they mess up, I'd rather them mess up on our properties than somebody else's. So
That's a
that's kind
very
of
good
how
point. Very
we
good
vet
point.
some of our contractors and stuff, and that's kind of how we grow their businesses too. So
Yep, yep. Get them to work on your own property before you put them out to customers where there's even a bigger fallout if they mess up. I agree with that. Um, and what about the personal side? You're 35. Are you married? Or do you have kiddos? Or what's like? I don't know how you can have time to sleep. Forget about having a family, but you're at that age. So let me ask.
I've got a family with three step kids, and we're living life. Yeah, we
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think that's fantastic. Very, very nice. And I really like the fact that you're offering coaching. And I'm thinking that for that coaching, they should be going to rei9.com, correct?
absolutely anybody that needs help starting out, if they need help growing their wholesale business, or just curious about creative finance and wholesaling, or any kind of creative investing, yeah, just go to rei9.com. Take a look at our website. If there's anything that we can offer you, just sign up and we'll reach out and we'll get you going.
And do you offer teaching on the Facebook groups?
We do. We've had so many projects going on lately that I just haven't had enough hours in the day to sit down and do some trainings for everybody. But we try to do several a week, and we'll post them out in the groups. Just different aspects, different things to consider, maybe some tax advantages, different strategies that you can use, or some outside the box um, methods of buying and selling properties.
Interesting. What advice would you give to someone who wants to get into real estate, but is, on the outside looking in?
Find out what area of real estate you're passionate about. Sit down and determine what situation you're in life, because some investment strategies aren't for everybody, just depending on what you're going through. If you know if you're jumping into real estate because you have nothing else to give, then you probably don't need to be looking at multifamily deals and trying to pull money together to buy those properties. You might want to look more into wholesaling and JVing with people in the community to try to piggyback off of some of their deals. If you're looking for just a way to make money passively because you've got a good job, you've got a large 401k, but you don't want to have to pay all your money in taxes, or you want to beat the stock markets and have a safer investment, then we can show you how to buy creative real estate deals and keep them for yourself, build your own portfolios, or join some of the funds that we have going on right now as far as the multifamily projects and stuff, to be able to create that wealth and take advantage of those tax savings. So I guess it just depends on what stage of life you're in, what your goals are, what you're wanting to accomplish, and honestly, how much time do you have to put into it? Because I do a lot of stuff that most people don't and wouldn't do, because I'm 100% all on board with it. So I don't really have an option to fail because all my time and energy goes into it. Whereas most people may want to just put 3 or 5 or 10 hours a week into it and see what happens.
Right, right. I do agree on that. That's for sure. And where do you see your business in another 5 years down the road? Because 5 years with AI right now, that's like 20 years way back before we had AI. But where do you think you're going to be in another 5 years?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. The level that I want to be at, it takes a lot, and it takes a village. And until I find the right people to surround myself with and build my village, I can't really I can't put a time frame on that growth rate. I'm hoping it's as big as I want it to be, but if it's not the end of the world. We're growing at a healthy pace. So
What about mentorships and other real estate groups for your own growth? How are you growing your own mindset, your own, how are you getting around the different people that might be of the right um, fiber? Because if we just live where we live, we're limited as to the number of people around us. What are you doing to expand your mind, your net work, and to learn new things?
well, I guess what helps me personally is I have my hand in everything. So I'm constantly learning what real estate deals work, what doesn't work, why they didn't work. I'm constantly building a network of people that are buyers, sellers, investors, new people that are looking to scale their businesses. I've got my hand in so many different things, and I'm talking to so many different people on a daily basis that my network grows pretty quick. So uh, I guess with that, it's got its pros and cons and stuff. So you surround yourself with good people, and good things happen. So
Interesting.
the more lenders that you have in your back pocket, the more opportunities that you have, the more deals that you have, the more investors that want to flock to you. So I say go
Yep.
out, find the deals, meet the people, find out what they need, what they want to accomplish, and no matter what you're doing in life, if you're selling them something, if you're offering them something, if you're just looking to scale your network, be able to provide the most service and the best service that you can to everybody around you, and at some point, your network is going to be your greatest value.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it will. And yet, I know that with myself, because I had to be out of real estate for way too long. And now I've just started re entering 3 years ago. And I'm finding that, yeah, I know I have enough knowledge to teach some people, but I have a very high standard on that, and I'm not in any way ready for it. But what I am always looking for is who can teach me, who can I go to. So I'm not sure if I told you, but sub two, um, Pace Morby's community is where one of the first places I started. But now I am going to other mentors, other one-on-one coaches, and people of different experience. Um, because Pace Morby is fantastic, but that's one point of view, one person. So I feel like I need to go to other people to learn more. And I know I feel okay about it because he does the same thing. He himself is being mentored and taught by people who are at higher levels than him in different things. So I don't know. I just feel like there's so much. I'm not sure I'll ever get to the point where I stop on that aspect. It is interesting.
I guess to build on top of that, I guess the mentors that I look at and that have kind of shaped my method of investing would be to be able to understand debt and leverage like Robert Kiyosaki does.
Hmm.
Be able to manage your deals and structure your deals like Ken McElroy does, his property manager. Be able to understand your options, negotiations, and creative finance in a way that's similar to what Pace does. And then be able to kind of combine all of those things into one powerhouse and be able to utilize all of those different tools in one. And I think once you can kind of understand all of those principles and structures and opportunities, that every time you're faced with a new opportunity, you can see what deals work and what you can do with them because you have so many more opportunities than you ever thought was possible. You might look at the same deal 10 years later, and you've got 10 more years of knowledge that you can bring to the table for this deal. Whereas the first time you looked at it, you just told the seller, no, there's nothing that I can do with your property. Best of luck to you. Whereas now, 10 years later, you might be in the position to offer them three or four more different options that you didn't even know were possible before. So
Isn't that the
it's
truth?
just a day in, day out learning process. Every deal that you do, you're going to learn something new. And the more deals that you do, the better you get at it, the more familiar you are with it. And over time, just like anything, you're going to learn from your failures. You might learn from
Absolutely.
other people telling you 10 or 15 different times, but the thing that hits you the hardest and the thing that really sticks with you are all the times that it doesn't work out like you had planned. Every
Yep.
time you fall on your face, every time you have to shell out a ton of money on something that you didn't plan for, those are your big learning moments that you carry on, in future deals and throughout your life. And I would say everybody learns, in a classroom or learns from other people, but where I learned the biggest is to just jump in the deep end and figure it out as I go. And you're going to take them on the chin every now and then, but at the same time, that's how you learn the fastest. So
Yep. Yep. Fully agree. Fully agree for sure. And I am going to be watching you with interest. I love what you're doing. And do you have a date for when you're going to launch your podcast?
I'm not sure. I guess it's tied to whenever we can finish the book. So I've got, I would say, another month and a half to complete the book. And then I need to get everybody to kind of review it, make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I think once that's done, I think we'll go ahead and start launching the podcast based on the book. We're
Nice.
going to try to create the Wealth Without Banks series, and we're going to go through and we'll do weekly podcasts on just different creative structures, different creative finance deals, tax savings, pretty much anything that would be wealth without banks.
I
So,
love it. I love it. And, your real estate community is so ready and, available now, the rei9.com. But will you come back and update us when you're just about to launch? Will you let us help you launch?
oh, absolutely. I'm launching it for everybody in the community. So
Awesome.
I would not do that without letting everybody join and be aware of it.
That sounds fantastic. I want to say thank you very, very much. And guys, I will have in the bio the information on both websites that you can, the Facebook groups that you can join, and his Instagram info, and the rei9.com, which I've said enough times that if you haven't got that, wake up. Anyways, so we'll have that available for you. And I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Well, it's been my pleasure. And guys, we'll see you next time. And Colton, if you just hang on for a few minutes, don't go away. All right,
Okay.
guys. See you next time. Take care.